A flurry of activity on transfer deadline day finished with frozen-out England wingers Raheem Sterling and Jadon Sancho finalising loan deals with rival Premier League clubs, while Ivan Toney sealed a move to Saudi Arabia on Friday. While Sterling crossed the London divide to move from Chelsea to Arsenal, Sancho left Manchester United on loan once again to effectively replace his international teammate at Stamford Bridge, the British media reported. Sterling was told by new Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca that he had no place in the squad, and Arsenal swooped in to sign him, with manager Mikel Arteta an admirer, having worked with the winger at Manchester City during his spell as assistant coach. Sancho had been at odds with United boss Erik ten Hag, and despite being an €85 million $93.90 million recruit, the Old Trafford club saw fit to let him go on loan a second time after his spell with former club Borussia Dortmund last season. Toney, once Brentford's linchpin in attack, has moved to Al Ahly for £40 million $52.50 million after the club cashed in on the striker who helped them gain promotion to the top flight in 2021. But Toney did his career no favors when he received an 8-month ban for 232 breaches of betting rules, which saw him miss half the 2023-24 season. "I'm happy he has an opportunity to try something new in his life and career," Brentford coach Thomas Frank said. "We thank him for so many magic moments and wish him all the best for his next chapter." Ivan leaves as a Brentford legend. Arsenal were quite busy with players leaving on deadline day, as goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale made a permanent switch to Southampton, which forced the North London club to sign Neto on loan from Bournemouth. Meanwhile, Eddie Nketiah became the latest academy player to leave Arsenal as he moved to Crystal Palace for around £30 million, while Reece Nelson joined Fulham on loan. Palace also signed centre-back Maxence Lacroix, while Matt Turner arrives for a season-long loan. Wolverhampton Wanderers had 3 incoming transfers on deadline day: keeper Sam Johnston, midfielder Andre, and winger Carlos Forbes. Chelsea allowed Armando Broja to join Everton on a season-long loan with an option to make the move permanent in 2025. Scotland midfielder Scott McTominay ended a 22-year stay at United, a club he joined when he was 5 years old, to make the switch to Serie A side Napoli for €30.5 million. The Italian club also signed his Scotland teammate Billy Gilmour. McTominay's departure allowed United to sign their primary target Manuel Ugarte from Paris Saint-Germain on a 5-year deal, in a deal worth €50 million. AC Milan added to their attacking options by snapping up as Roma striker Tammy Abraham on a season-long loan. Manchester United's summer transfer window has now ended as the market closed at 11 p.m. on Friday night. This window marked the first under the leadership of Ineos, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be pleased with the business they have got done. United's final major signing of the summer was confirmed on deadline day as Manuel Ugarte arrived for £50 million. The Reds also focused on the future in the window, with the likes of Joshua Zirkzee and Lenny Yoro joining, as well as highly rated 18-year-old Sekou Kone. In our latest look at the media headlines, we analyzed 2 deals which could have happened but did not work out. United miss out on FFP boost. A late unexpected move on deadline day came from St James's Park as Newcastle attempted to sign Anthony Elanga. The former United man has enjoyed a good start at Nottingham Forest, and that convinced Eddie Howe to submit a £35 million for the Swede. Had it been accepted, the Mirror understands United would have received millions thanks to a sell-on clause inserted in Elanga's move to the East Midlands. What Men Sport says: United will not be too concerned they have not received the FFP boost of Elanga moving to the northeast. This was not money that the Reds were banking on receiving and would have just been a nice bonus. Elanga's contract at Forest expires in 2028, and you would expect Newcastle to go back in for the winger again in the future, especially if Anthony Gordon departs. Mourinho signs Amrabat. United will not just be reuniting with Jose Mourinho when they face Fenerbahce in the Europa League. The Turkish club announced the loan signing of Sofyan Amrabat on deadline day after he was seen as a backup option for the Reds had they not been able to complete a deal for Ugarte. What Men Sport says: ultimately, while Amrabat grew into his loan spell at Old Trafford, he just did not have enough to make it as a regular in the Premier League that United leave. While Erik ten Hag will hope he does not come back to bite them later this season, he will be pleased to have Ugarte on the wage bill instead of Amrabat and shall have fingers crossed the defensive midfielder can solidify the center of the pitch for United. Real Betis had bids to sign both Antony and Christian Eriksen on loan rejected by Manchester United before the Premier League transfer window shut on Friday. United have been amongst Europe's biggest movers and shakers in the market, with 5 new stars making their way through the doors at Old Trafford while also selling a host of first-team stars. Scott McTominay was allowed to leave Manchester in a £25.7 million deadline day switch to Napoli, but manager Erik ten Hag was unwilling to permit any other members of his squad to leave in the final few hours. They also announced the £51 million capture of Manuel Ugarte from PSG and signed Mali youngster Sekou Kone in a £1 million transfer to conclude over £200 million of summer business. La Liga side Betis wanted to tempt United's late resolve and asked about the possibility of taking both Antony and Danish midfielder on loan, but were quickly rebuffed. Antony has flopped at United since his £85.5 million move 2 years ago, scoring just 11 goals in 83 appearances, but is determined to fight for a place in Ten Hag's matchday squads this season. The Brazilian faces increased competition for minutes following the arrival of Joshua Zirkzee and rise of Amad Diallo, who has started both of United's opening Premier League matches. Ten Hag has been keen to keep hold of players he deems integral to United's ambition to get back to the top of the Premier League, with Antony and Eriksen in his plans for the long season ahead. Denmark international Eriksen is well liked by United fans despite being given limited playing opportunities at the club last season while he also battled injuries. Manchester United had an active transfer deadline day, with a number of incoming and outgoing deals confirmed. Here is a run-through of every single deal Manchester United announced on transfer deadline day summer 2024. Sekou Kone to Manchester United, £1 million. Manchester United announced the signing of Mali youth international midfielder Sekou Kone. United saw off heavy competition to clinch the signature of the highly rated midfielder, who joins from African side Guiders FC. Kone impressed at the Under-17s World Cup where he helped his side beat Argentina in the third-place playoff. Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United, £42 million. Manchester United's long-awaited deal to sign Manuel Ugarte was completed with 90 minutes to spare of the transfer deadline. The Uruguay international fills a key gap in United's midfield, and should become a real fan favorite with his combative style. Scott McTominay to Napoli, £25.7 million. Manchester United first-team regular Scott McTominay has completed his move away from the club after more than 250 appearances. McTominay becomes the 5th player to feature for United and Napoli, with his deal the most expensive upfront fee ever received for an academy graduate. The Scotland international is United's 4th most expensive exit ever, and the club have also negotiated a 10% sell-on clause into the deal. The 18-year-old had provided 3 assists in his opening under-21s games this season from right back, and he will benefit from another step up. Jadon Sancho to Chelsea, loan with obligation at £23 million. Jadon Sancho's move to Chelsea reflects his woeful career path at Manchester United. Bought for £73 million, United figured out early in the window there would be no buyers, and tried to reintegrate Jadon Sancho into the team. Eventually United decided to cut their losses and get him off the books. This one took until 1 a.m. to conclude, a loan deal where Chelsea have an obligation to buy next summer.